Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Under the Koala tree. Thank you so much for the support that we've had so far. We love all the retweets, all the posts, all the shares, all the comments, especially the comments. That's really helping with the kind of content that we're going to give to you. Today we're going to be talking about something that is quite interesting but still very important. We're going to be talking about how your cyber wellness is affected by your mental wellness and vice versa. And how this even came up. Before I even have myself, guys, you need to subscribe, like and share, and hit the notifications bell so you keep getting notifications when we post. But how this topic came up is that apparently I'm on my phone too much. And for me, I just feel like my phone is my job. And I'm also in a generation where Twitter fingers, social media thumbs are a thing, so I need to kind of keep up with not only my age mates but those that I communicate with. But I do admit that it can be quite a problem if I consume too much. I know that I can go for like 12 hours of my 24-hour day spent on not just social media but in particular Instagram. So it can get quite like addictive. I know I'm a bit of an addict, but again, it's my job.
Yeah, but I think sometimes you need to know when to just put the phone down and, just relax a little, because you may be talking to us, we may be having, even sometimes we may be eating and you're on your phone. And I'm also old school from the perspective that if I'm talking to you, you need to look at me. Don't be looking down at the phone or anything like that. And sadly, you do that a lot, and that becomes problematic for me. And I think it's something that your generation repeatedly do. There's a lack of respect for, just propriety. I think just being in the space where this is a time to put the phone down and chill and be with the family and just enjoy each other's company. That is a serious issue for me.
So I think from my side, I've given you a little bit of leeway because it's also your work. But now listen to the fact that it's 8 to 12 hours.
Wow.
I said, oof, that's too much. Okay. First of all, how do you socialize? Okay.
That's where I socialize.
No. When it's with a boyfriend, or when it's with your friends, if you're going to spend that much time, then the social life does not happen. By the time you become a parent, how much time are you going to give your kids? And the husband, and all those kind of things. And it's actually gotten worse over the years, not so much with youth, but with kids in general. Even 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, they go to a friend's place to play, and all they're doing is they're just sitting on their phones.
Their tablets.
And I never grew up with any of that stuff. So I've seen it kind of evolve, but it seems to have taken over life. Even as us as parents, we have gotten to a stage where there's been too much TV. Okay, so that shared dinner we don't do. We just eat in front of the TV, if we're in front of the TV. But yours is worse.
Currently living with you, and also being younger than mommy and daddy, which also kind of makes me closer to social media. We're all complaining about your usage of social media and your phone in different ways, and mine is, it more revolves around how dangerous social media is with what's given to us, what they feed us. And like with me on my Instagram, on my Explore, all you really see is football, sneakers, and fashion. But normally on Instagram, as a gent, a lot of women show up. And it does something to you mentally. It actually becomes depressing, because of course, as a gent, these are things you want.
Really?
But it gets to a point where it's like you feel so bad about yourself because you can't have. You're seeing all of these
Starts
things.
to affect your self-esteem.
And a lot of things that happen on social media is that you indirectly also make yourself look at things that are gonna make you sad.
Yeah.
Now, with Twitter, I know you're really you're on Twitter a lot as well, and that's where you get most of your information with regards to what's happening with women all over the world and and specifically in South Africa. And I'm not saying that you should stay away from it so that you see less of it, but you are indirectly putting yourself in a situation to see these things, these what do you call this? These triggers. You know, news where it's about abuse and this guy killed this woman. It's gonna pop up anyway, but you need to prevent yourself from seeing it a lot more than you would and let it come to you rather than you indirectly go towards it.
So it's interesting because, I mean, for me, as a mother, I must admit, the work you do, Lindy, you know, for some people, and even for me, it's very risque, okay? Risky. And I've always been petrified of the thought that, you know, somebody could, you know, harm you, that you could potentially be in danger because of what you put out there. That's one aspect. The other aspect is that I think people also think, you know, because you are so free with your body positivity and showing your body and nudity, there's an assumption that you can't possibly have good morals or come from a good home. I've had, I mean, one of the patriarchs of the family called me one day and said, "What is this I'm hearing about Lindy Way and you know, the nudity?" And I said, "Oh, Dad, you know, it's just one of those things. It's her life." But you know, I was almost worried about saying that to the old man because you know, he's the old man, and as old as I am, I have to show him respect. So I couldn't be flippant with my answer. But on the other hand, he may be worried about it from the perspective of, what would the family think? Because I think it was a family member that even shared it with him anyway. But the reality is that if I have to be really honest, I really don't care about what family members may think. And the reason for that is they don't put food on the table for you. They're not there looking after your well-being, wellness, etc., etc. And so long as I know what you're doing, I'm cool. It's your life, and I think it's something you need to do. But I do worry about the danger and how it can affect you on a very personal level. Yeah.
So this is another aspect of social media that gets me a little bit concerned. Generally speaking, even in news, good news doesn't sell. It's bad news.
Yeah.
So people like to hear about bad news, horror stories. Even when you're driving along the motorway and there's an accident, you just see people stop.
Yeah.
You know, they were going to work or something, but they stop as if they're going to help, and all they're doing is just standing around watching. And then they're going to go narrate, how this person was, his arm was here, whatever, you know. Yeah. And I think the world has really gotten to a stage where I think we've gone a little bit mental. So I think
that's strong.
It is,
but it's warranted.
But that's what is happening. And then what I seem to see is the social media sometimes becomes an extension. Okay, either you're idolizing people, or you're looking at someone being put down.
Yeah.
Now, when I go on the internet, a lot of the time, I'm looking for good news. Yes, look for something good. Look for something that someone did that has made a difference in someone else's life. If I come across that and that is the one that's been propagated, then I'm all for it. And I think we should also try and strike a balance between the negative and the positive, because the continuous negative is just going to make us depressed.
So, you know, I joined a group, okay? It's a women's group. I won't mention the name because obviously there are people who are still members and they like it. But when I first joined it, you introduce yourself, who you are and what you do, and a little bit about your life experience. And it has grown phenomenally. I mean, in a short space of time, I think it started under the lockdown. They've got more than 50,000 members, okay? And then I left the group because I realized that every single woman that introduced themselves talked about, you know, the hard life they've had, the abuse they experienced, it was just nothing empowering. It was nothing empowering, and you found that when you put that information out there, you could get 300 likes, 1,000 shares, and then when you put a message that is inspiring, you get 1 or 2 people that will say, okay, yeah, great, but that was it. So for me, I think social media is very much manipulative as well. It's incredibly manipulative, and everything becomes amplified. So it's bigger than what it actually is. I don't know, Sitaba, what you think of that.
I think you're all right. And there are so many dangers to social media, and I think sometimes, most of the time, when I'm going onto social media, I am actually looking for positivity. But I think also based on the way I filtered out the kinds of people that I follow and the organizations that I follow, they are the ones that highlight the things that are pertinent to the kind of content that I want to put out there. So as depressing as it is, and as much as I am kind of putting myself out there to find that information, I still also get people coming to me, but I want to continue to, I don't know what the word is, I want to continue for my own passion to not die when it comes to seeing like the anger that I have inside me for especially gender-based violence and sexual abuse. All of that stuff kind of drives me to create more awareness, and not necessarily that I'm just constantly trying to put negativity in people's faces, which is what a lot of people have thought that I've been doing lately, because it's just, you're always down, you're always depressed. But I also feel like that's how a lot of our generation is, and as much as people are using social media to put others down and to show negative things, we're also not showing what the impact of that is doing to us, which is what I'm doing. I'm trying to show that yes, I may need social media because it's a means to an end in terms of like what pays me, but at the same time, I consume it for entertainment, I consume it for my own awareness, for education, and all of those things are all encompassing. They're all a part of who I am as a person, but some will outweigh the other at different points. So I subconsciously take in certain content that may eventually make me depressed on the surface, but the initial reason that I'm taking in that content isn't to make myself sad. It's to get more information about it, so that also when I'm speaking on it, I'm speaking from a point of research. I think a lot of the social media that I engage with is still research based, even if it's just asking questions that I know is going to cause a stir, because I know that creates conversation. So I understand that there's dangers, there's positivity, there's so much around cyber wellness that we have to be cognizant of, but we also have to highlight it.
My thing is, social media is actually one of the best things we've actually come across in life. It's the most convenient way to communicate with people everywhere. It's connected people that weren't even going to connect if they didn't have social media. It's allowed people to make money. It's done a lot for development. But I think my problem with social media is that social media keeps you on social media. It's not about the convenience of social media. It's not about the good things it can do for you. It's just to make sure you keep on looking at your phone. My thing is, we shouldn't cut it out, but we should use less of it. And that's what I feel you should be doing as well, in order to, use your time properly, utilize your time, the time that you have.
I think that's best.
And mix it with some positivity.
Yeah. Definitely.
Messages of hope.
I mean, I do that. I do try and highlight, be kind to people, giving also calls to action. I think the calls to action is where I'm just like, especially now we've just come out of Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and people don't even know that there's a month for that. But the fact that we have to have a month to highlight something so important, it should be an everyday thing. So I want it to be an everyday thing in terms of the content I'm producing. But I don't know if you guys agree. I don't know if you what your views are on social media. Are you guys addicted like I Please comment below, let us know, share, like, and subscribe. And once again, thank you for joining us under the koala tree for another episode.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.